Nai. Haru in the fur. A in the kinature. Kepper Joseph. Khensu Keku. What the fuck is up, bitch ass niggas? Yeah. Dawn is arising. Woke up to I fell asleep mad early last night. Came outside, did my little meditation or whatever. Did some prana work, did some grounding. Went inside, had dinner, knocked out. Had my ritual dinner, knocked out. You know. What's up, intimate? I was KO. Like they used to say in what game was that? Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter? K.O. It was Street Fighter. K.O. That's how a nigga felt. All shining bright. Occupy Stardust Pyramids, you feel me? Out here gathering some energy while the new moon rises. The new moon and the sun are rising together in Aries at this current moment in time. At this current moment in time, you got Uranus on its way to Aries, the moon just tapping into Aries, and then you got the sun. Yeah, the sun also in Aries right now. So if you're seeing people talk about a full moon in Taurus or something of that nature, if you know them personally, punch them in the face. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know them, if they're just like only on your Instagram, I guess you can like unfollow them, or just tell them like, yo, y'all, you're not talking accurate shit. The new moon is not in Taurus. It's not even possible. You know, but that's just me. You know, I understand astrology. And I understand astronomy. And because I understand both, I know how to use the energies in the way that the energies are active. So I'm not going on to Google or Instagram and waiting for somebody else to tell me when the moon is a new moon. I'm not waiting on Instagram or Google or fucking Dolores Cannon or any of these people to tell me when the new moon is in a specific zodiac sign, or any type of planetary transitions, or any type of planetary positioning. I'm not waiting on nobody. I mean, in general, I'm not waiting on anybody. You know, that is the difference between becoming a god, becoming a goddess, and then just calling yourself a god and then calling yourself a goddess. There's two different things. Becoming one, which is a process of coming into your godhead, which is what I teach my classes on, is a process of detaching from human thoughts and your humanity in general. Yeah, I do natal chart readings. I do both sidereal chart readings as well as tropical chart readings. I prefer to do sidereal. If a person wants me to do a tropical, I will. If I do a sidereal reading for a person, then I also will do the tropical reading for them as well. And they're $30. The $30. I do it via PayPal or Google Pay. You can send me either Google Pay or through PayPal, and I do the reading. It usually takes, from my experience, it takes usually about an hour. It takes about an hour. Now, the key is I'm very big on questions. I'm very big on understanding. Fuck everything else. So it's like, if you can't understand how to apply the information I'm telling you, then it's irrelevant to me. So I'm very big on questions. So like, even though usually it's an hour, if a person has questions, I will not limit them to that time frame. You know, the more questions, the better, simply because I want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. And that's very important. So if that's something you want to do, definitely feel free to DM me. That's not an issue. I do those readings. I do the Akashic reading as well, which is also $30, and the Godhead reading, which is also $30. The difference between those readings is the Akashic reading focuses on your past life and things of that nature, whereas the natal chart reading, I'm pretty sure you know what that is, and the Godhead reading, I basically do a natal chart reading, but I use Chaldean numerology, and then through the numerology, I can tell you your life path number, gift path number, soul urge number, and your expression number, which those numbers correspond to different deities that may have incarnated in your incarnation. So we have different deities and energies and gods and goddesses, angels and demons and things of that nature that come with you in your incarnation, from past lives, from family's karmic debt, from your own karmic debt. They come in through a lot of different ways, but you always have spirits, angels, demons, gods, goddesses, etc., that come in and they live within the body. They live within the body. It's called your synaptic nerves. That's where they pretty much, in the neuromelanin, that's where they live, which is the gray matter in the brain. They pretty much reside there. All energies and entities. So I like to make sure that when I do provide these readings, that people have not only accurate information, but they have information that they can apply and make changes to their life as soon as possible, whenever they choose. My bad, I'm not like focusing on you guys. I'm trying to get some weed out my fucking weed thing. Yeah, so that's what I offer with that. I also provide classes on several different things. They mainly stem from a lot of ancient practices, ancient melanated practices, rather, ancient Hindu, ancient Egyptian, ancient Babylonian, ancient Sumerian, things of that nature. Smoke break, 1 second. Smoke break, yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then pretty much when you actually do that, DM me when you're ready, and only thing I'll need from you at that time will be your first name, last name, well, full name, sorry. I'll need your full name, birth date, the location, and if you know the birth time, that would be beautiful as well. What up, FUI Smoke? FUI Smoke. Shout out to FUI Smoke. Shout out to Mr. Super Chew, Intimate, Blessed Cali, Nixter Goddess. Shout out to everybody that joined us, and shout out to y'all thugs. But yeah, you just let me know the information, and then at that point, I can kind of look at my schedule, see when my classes are, see what other readings and things of that nature I have, and then I can go ahead and get it all set up for you, and we can go ahead and get that chart reading. Thanks for asking. I really appreciate that. And whenever you're ready, all in divine alignment, all in divine timing. But yeah, I pretty much got up so I can catch that energy, catch the sun and the new moon rising at the same time. So I guess you could say that's a grand rising in that aspect. But for those who know how grand rising is actually used, the real terminology, it has nothing to do with the morning whatsoever. Grand rising is in reference to Sirius rising, and then grand rising is in reference to any star system that you personally feel that you have a connection to. So if you feel like you came from goddamn Arcturus, Then when Arcturus is rising, that's a grand rising. If you feel like you came from Sirius and or the Orion constellation, then when the motherfuckers rise, that is a grand rising, which can actually be in the afternoon. It can be in the morning. It can be at night. You know what I'm saying? It can be at the evening. I believe, if I'm correct at this point, Sirius and Orion rises like around. I'm in the West Coast, so it rises around like 5 p.m. About 5 p.m. So yeah, that's a grand rising. Has nothing to do with the morning time. Where the concept of the morning comes in is, I'm pretty sure at some point, the the European or the melanin recessive or the albion had heard the terminology, saw how we used it, and then somehow during their attempt in using it, they got confused and connected it with it meaning good morning. No. Smoke break. We're gonna smoke break on that one. No, that's not how that happened. It's not how that happened. Smoke break. Grand Rising is in reference to whatever you choose it to be. Because the only thing that runs this shit, only thing you that run this shit is your mind. I do, personally, because the Orions was the Osirians or the Assyrians. You see what I'm saying? You see? So what people don't understand is, and this is why it's very key that us as melanated people start getting back to understanding our culture as melanated people. What you have when you have these people that talk about starseeds and the battle between Orion, the Orions and the Osirians, the Orions and the Syrians, that is actually has nothing to do with real nigga shit. Now, what I mean by that is, what I mean by that is literally exactly what I'm saying. It had nothing to do with real nigga shit. The people that are actually talking about these things were not around as a race to understand the practicality of what's being talked about. So they actually think it was an event that happened in a way where they have a concept of it. But what the battle in between Sirius star system and the Orion star system actually had nothing to do with that. It was talking about the battle between Set and Osiris. That's an ancient Egyptian magic spell. It has nothing to do with like shit like that now. And those were entities of your own soul. You see, the Osirians or the Orions are human templates, or the template of the upward mobile. From my understanding, it seems to be that it is. But the only problem is it's the template of the upward mobile which falls into like matter. So, for example, you have Ophiuchus, which is an androgynous upward mobile, which means it's a male and female entity with both sex organs, right? Or no sex organs until it decides whichever it wants to use at that time. But then when you're talking about Orion is a man. You see what I'm saying? That's one gender, which then falls into the law of gender, which will eventually, will at some point become matter. Basically, the way this works is like this. Everything in the physical world has to have, well, I don't want to say everything. 99.9% of shit in the physical world has to have one sex. It has to have one gender. You see what I'm saying? It cannot be As much as you have transgenders, you have things of that nature, you have gay people, as much as they may actually feel that from a spiritual level or feel that in their mind genuinely and in their hearts genuinely, and that's who they truly are genuinely. And even if there was, because people were like, oh, well, they were probably abused. Fuck all outside influences. That's probably who 95% of the time, that's who they are genuinely. And because your soul is androgynous, your soul is masculine and feminine, sometimes when you get into the body, the soul chooses that it still wants to be both. And because it cannot be both, it basically creates the outside influence. It creates that stigma. So it's like for example, if gay people or transgender people weren't demonized by the church, which was on purpose, then basically what would happen is we wouldn't even care about gay people or the transgenders. And what I mean by we wouldn't care about them, we wouldn't have an opinion on what the fuck they do. Because do you go around saying, hey, you're straight? Yeah, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't we don't go around having opinions on things that we wouldn't technically care about in the aspect of that it doesn't bother us. I'm not having sex with a transgender. I'm not having sex with a gay man. So why would I care in that moment in time about, because I've encountered one? You see what I'm saying? Oh shit, he gay. Oh shit, he might try to get at me. Like, first of all, you know how many fucking people, like people I know that's gay or transgender. I have a lot of friends that are gay or transgender, and I will tell you this: they know who's what, and they don't fuck with people who ain't that. You know what I'm saying? They'll just be like, oh, you're a cool person. They'll be your friend. You know what I'm saying? But just because you a man and they a man and they're into men, they're not gonna be into you because they know that you ain't into them. That do you go and holler at a girl that you just know she ain't gonna give you no play? Like, damn, I know I'm like, I know I'm homeless, girl. I know I'm homeless, and you stay in this big ass mansion. And yeah. I know. I only got I got two fingers, and that's it. I know. I know. And I got a baby dick, but still, come on, girl. Come on. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not how life works. You just don't, the energies that exactly like B Miles was saying, energy that is resonating, and that's what the word resonance means. Let's get this straight. Resonance talks about the level of a vibration, and not like the source of that level. So energy resonates with energies which vibrate at a similar rate. Similar vibrational rate. That's how that shit works. You don't see a similar vibratory rate. That's what the proper term is. You don't see low vibrations go up to the top. Like, hey, what's up, players? What's going on with y'all niggas, man? I ain't seen y'all in a minute, man. What y'all sipping on, cuz? Let me get a little bit of that, cuz. No, that's not how that works. Like, low vibrations go kick with low vibration, but oh man, shit, I just got jumped today, man. I just got jumped 2 times. What happened to you, bro? Man, shit, I just shot myself 45 times. I ain't even dead yet. Shit, I just jumped off a building too. Damn, everybody down here depressed. That's how that works. You see what I'm saying? So when you talking about, like, I had somebody tell me some dumb shit a couple days ago. Like literally, it was just really fucking dumb to me. I had replied to a comment on Instagram, and then another person that I was not speaking to replied to me and was like, the humans are the only species that think about race. That's just ignorant. That's racist. And I just I'm like, what? Show me a crow that kicks it with a hawk. Show me one. Show me a squirrel chilling with a mouse, or a squirrel chilling with a raccoon, or a raccoon and a possum. a raccoon and a possum. Show me a hippo and a zebra thugging it. Show me a goddamn hummingbird chilling with a pigeon. And then we can talk. Because to me, I just named at least 8 different species. 8 different races of the same species of thing. Because a rodent is a rodent. A squirrel is a rodent, and a mouse is a rodent. They don't kick it together. A bird is a bird. A hawk doesn't kick it with a crow. A hummingbird does not kick it with a pigeon. And I believe raccoons and possums are rodents too. They don't chill together. What up, JP? I'm out here still. B Miles, people seeing the thing. Well, because okay, I'm gonna answer B Miles' question quick, and then I'm gonna get to you as well, Super Chew. So you was asking about the God in us or the God itself. How God itself became an entity was because of kind of a portion of Super Chew's question. It came from the Albion. So basically, the concept of a God is actually literally the concept of nature itself. So in Egypt, you had what's known as Medu Neter. Okay, Medu Neter. And the word Neter means nature. Well, eventually became the word nature. But Neter meant the function of something. So like, the reason that you see a lot of animal heads on the deities, on the gods and goddesses in Egypt, the reason that they had the animal heads was because the nature of an animal does not change. Like I just said, a bird is not going to go kick it with a squirrel. It's never going to start a family with a squirrel. A bird, eagle's never going to go start a family with a crow. It's just never happened because first of all, crows can't fly as high as eagles. So nigga, you can't even come where I'm at. And that's really how this shit used to be. And now I can answer Super Chew's question as well at the same time, were the gods because we are, this entire universe is indigenous to us. Everything that you could possibly see with your eye and with the shit you cannot see is indigenous to your black and brown asses. The melanin, I actually just started answering your question too. So it's funny that you came right back. So perfect, you ain't missed nothing. All I was saying is that we are those gods and goddesses. We are all those energies that we were describing because the word necher in ancient Egyptian was the word for God, right? But the word necher meant nature or what's natural, you see, and in its natural function or natural selection, you see. And I was talking about how animals, the reason they use the animal heads because animal nature does not change over time, you know. Dogs don't go and have children with cats. You know, dogs don't go. A German Shepherd genuinely is not going to go and try to have a child with a wolf or a fox. You know what I'm saying? Like you are not gonna see a fox and a pit bull get together. So because we were in a different frequency and a different vibratory rate, we were not in this physical realm. So because we were not in the physical realm initially, our mindset was that of the God, because basically everything we did, anytime we ever did something, it was because we knew we could do it. Therefore, we were the creator of our own realities. Somehow, now I'm still trying to figure out this understanding of this, but it seems as if somehow the more we did shit, the more the vibratory rate either was used up or transmuted into a different lower frequency every time we did it. So it's like, if you ever heard of this, it's called like the parallel action theory or something crazy, where it's like every time you do one thing, we're definitely memories, and we're gonna get to that in a second too. So every time you do one thing, then basically by you doing that one thing, the total opposite happens in a different parallel reality. So it's like, instead of me waking up this morning to see the dawn, waking up for the three differences of the dawn, you got the celestial dawn, the tropical dawn, and then celestial dawn, nautical dawn, and then tropical dawn. So I woke up for that, so so by the time I woke up, the moon would be rising, the sun would be rising, all that shit, right? Venus, Mercury, and Uranus all rising at the same time right now. So that's what I woke up for. So that reality happened. But then there's another reality where none of that shit happened. I'm still sleeping. You see? So like, instead I lit my candles, I did my spiritual bath last night, and then I fell asleep after I lit my candles, and I'm still sleeping right now. That's a reality too. So you have all these different realities that were playing out, and I believe when the vibrational like rate changed, somehow by the time they got done doing all the shit they had, the star in Orion, Betelgeuse, which is where the movie Beetlejuice comes from. So if you actually go watch the movie Beetlejuice, at the very end, as you look at the cast, you'll see Michael Keaton's character is named Beetlejuice, like the dead star in Orion, because the Beetlejuice movie is actually Osiris, the story of Osiris. So when that star died, somehow the death of that star created this star, this yellow sun, and everybody that was there that died under that star system, we came here. The problem is, when we came here, again, it created a double-edged sword. So by us coming here, it created another dead star in this system, which is the Antares, which is in the the Scorpio constellation. When that happened, then that's where white people came from. Well, as far as their souls, and what that is it's recycled energy. Now, as far as where they actually came from, that's a different story. That is, from my understanding, they literally came from, like when we talk about modern, blue-eyed, blonde hair, light-skinned white people, they came from Neanderthals. It seems to be that, and all scientific information points to them coming from Neanderthals, and us realizing that because they didn't have melanin, that the sun was killing them because of the UV rays and the gamma rays that our melanin naturally eats when the sun is in the zenith. So when the sun is at its highest point, if you have brown eyes, brown hair, and brown skin, your ass should be outside, because that's the only time that UV rays and gamma rays fall into this universe, and the only thing that's not harmed is shit that's naturally supposed to be here, like trees and animals and you. So, because that's what our melanin eats, UV rays and gamma rays, which are foreign to this universe, then that would mean we are too. So the melanin is some type of form of hydrocarbon. And this is just information that I was able to channel. It's hydrocarbon, because that's the only reason why they constantly talk about the waters of noon, or the chaos, and Khepera being the creator that created itself in the waters of noon. You see? So the melanin itself is some type of foreign substance which has the ability to create itself in a different form while still keeping the essence of the original pattern. So what we are is something totally foreign to this universe in general. So in a nutshell, we pretty much hyper manufacture these niggas. and you can look up the science. The science will tell you they all pretty much have one ancestor. which means that once we were able to get one of them to be able to reproduce, then we just started to get like more of them to reproduce, which then started to create red gingers and brown-haired, brown-eyed, white, lighter-skinned people. Now, when it comes down to the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, they all have one ancestor, which means that they literally, one of them came out blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and then that meant that that one went back to the other Neanderthals, and then they started to mate. So you have like literally, and it has to be a sister and a brother. So that whole Adam and Eve story, yeah. You know, but even though that's not legitimate as far as it's not legitimate as far as the story. That story is actually a metaphysical story that's talking about the sun, which is Atem of ancient Egypt, Atem, which is an atom, Atom, and then Eve, which is the evening or the beginning of a process, you know. So, in a nutshell, where black people come from, where we come from, is the blue star systems that you can see, and that's just as much as I can tell you, because technically we can't see. You can't see ultraviolet stars, and you can't see lavender stars. So, and we can't see like certain frequency and certain vibrational rates of a star itself with the physical eye. So because we can't see that, we're limited to seeing a blue star, and that's as high as I can tell you we come from. Because all the blue stars are referenced in every ancient religion, rather it's Hindu, rather it's Sumerian, rather it's Babylonian, rather it's Egyptian. You always have Sirius, you have Lyra, you have Andromeda, you have Alpha Centauri, you have all these different like star systems that's always referenced no matter what. The Vega, you know, which is in the Lyran constellation, Perseus, you know, you have all these, the ones in Pegasus, all these different star systems have blue stars, which means if it has a blue star, then there's melanin there. They are Negroes there. Negroes, and you can call the Hispanics, you can call Indian, Dravidians, the Cambodians, Khmerians, Vietnamese, Filipinos, all them motherfuckers, that's melanin. That's melanin all day. They may sound different, they may look different, but at one point in time, they was just like your black ass. Like, why don't you, if you don't believe me, all you gotta do is think about it. In those languages, in their native tongues, which is not native tongues, but, well, I guess you could say native, because native means to be from a specific location. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't, when you were born there, that don't mean that you was originally there. That's an aboriginal. That means you've been there since the fucking beginning. But what was I gonna say? In their native tongues, they all have terminologies for somebody who's black but ain't black. Like, so Spanish people, they call them morenos or morenas, and then they also got gringos, and then they got güero. You see what I'm saying? So gringo literally means a white boy, but güero means like a black, Hispanic person that just looks like a white boy. So the fact that there's terminologies for these things means that there is some type of essence to the change in the form of why melanin works that way. And like I said, you know, melanin eats UV rays and gamma rays, which means if you have black or brown skin, black or brown eyes, and black or brown hair, then you're probably from some type of other universe, simply because your skin is not affected by something that does not belong in this universe. It actually is fueled by it. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if I had a car and I told you my car is it runs off air. So I got this big ass air pressure gun, and I just be shooting air in the car. Like, everybody else at the gas station, everybody else at the electric plug-in, I'm just outside like, Go Power Ranger. You know what I'm saying? Gang sign. Shout out to my boy Walter. My boy Walter is the actual Black Ranger. So every time I like do some funny shit, always do the Power Ranger song because I'm so used to be around him, fucking with him. So shout out to Walter. But anyway, I don't even know where that came from. So Power Rangers. Oh no, air. So I'm powering my car with air, right? Everybody else is at the gas station. I'm just they be like, "Damn, where you get that car from?" Shit, I don't know, bro. It was I came outside. It was there. Damn, that car got to come from somewhere else. I'm trying to get. No, there ain't no other ones. I don't know. You know, like it's so foreign to the actual way shit gets down that it does. The only way to describe it is by its foreign, by its foreigner description. The sun will change color if the sun is change color. Technically, there's two suns. And I know this because I had this revelation, right? That is two suns. The one that is the black sun, and then there's another, and then there's the projection of what we see, which is the yellow sun. And then when it gets in the zenith, it turns green. But then because we are inside of the earth, you have what's known as the greenhouse effect, and then that makes the sun white. But anyway, the sun itself, you have the black sun, which rises right now. It hasn't came out yet, but that's what's making it this color, right? And then once the other sun rises, they're rising at the same time. They're really technically right next to each other. One's behind the other one. One is right behind the other one. What happens is people with blonde hair and blue eyes or green eyes or any color that is not brown, they cannot see the black sun. You can't see it. The reason why is because their eyes can't absorb light. It refracts light. So they actually cannot see what we see. But they don't even see in the same vibrational field as you. So, with that being said, the actual black sun was what we were using originally. Either that or at some point we had to get so much energy for it to come into the system that it came into the system. It started to kill off certain races, and that's when you had shit go down. So like the whole Akhenaten shit, like him with the Aten, to me that has something to do with, because the word Aten means a disc. So in my mind, I believe he knew that the black sun was there, and he was using that or trying to get everyone to use it. And then the other priesthoods turned on him, killed him or ran him off, and then killed King Tut, and then who knows what happened to Nefertiti. I don't know. I can't tell you what happened to Nefertiti. I can't tell you. You know. But I can tell you this. They definitely killed King Tut ass. They definitely killed King Tut. I know that for a fact. That whoever killed King Tut was definitely a foreigner. Or it was the people they were at war with, which was the Amen priesthood. That is a fucking fact. Because his name is Tutankhamen. 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 Think about this. If I'm going to war with the goddamn Green family, and my last name is Walker, right? Everybody that knows me knows my last name is Walker. I'm going to war with the Green family. 200 years from now, they have me named as Alante Tier Green. You see what I'm saying? Like, how would that even make sense? Like, first of all, how did this man's name change to That's the first thing. And then not only did it changed to something that he would never even have association with. Like his daddy name was named Amen Atep because his dad was part of the Amen priesthood. But then when he had the revelation about the Aten, he decided to move away from the Amen priesthood and do the Aten priesthood, which started his own. You see what I'm saying? Energy. And when he started his own energy, he named his children after that energy. His wife also took on that energy. So why would his son just out of everybody, he's the one named Tut Ankh Amen? That meant that the niggas that killed him was from the Amen priesthood, and then they went and wrote the name as that. You see? They changed his name. That is like, that's just common sense. But the white boy will never tell you that. Because the reason why is this. Ego. Because then that would mean that all the things they said in the history books for the past 300 to 400 years is completely inaccurate. And then they would have to they'd have to write a new history book starting from now and then re-educate everybody from this point on. The black sun is killing blonde-haired, blue-eyed white people. Because the black sun basically is what's pulling the sun around the whole concept of the sun even rising and the sun setting and the sun going into a zenith and then the next day doing the same thing and then the next day doing the same thing, then the next day doing the same thing. You see what I'm saying? That's the black sun. That's what they call the spirit or the ba or the kepera. You see what I'm saying? The energy itself behind the concept of even wanting to do it. That is what we were focused on. We were focused on understanding and understanding why things work. We weren't focused on what it was. Nobody cared about that. I can pull my dick out for every woman, but if I don't know how it works, then guess what's gonna happen? Nothing. She's like, oh, that's very nice. I don't know what I should do with it. I'm just like, well, I thought you'd like it, but I don't know what to do with it either. So we just both just sitting there. Like she wants to do something to it, but all her feelings inside of her doesn't know. She's like, do I want to sit on it? Do I want to just rub it? Do I want to just stare it? Do I just want to she don't know. And I'm just like, well, do I want to put it on her? Do I want to put it in her? Do I want to just shake it out? It's just there. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the ancient, that's why the hieroglyphs, that's why they did everything in the hieroglyphs, because through the symbology, you'd be able to remember the functions. You didn't need to know what it was describing. I mean, knowing what it was describing would definitely help. Because, if you didn't know what my dick was when I just said the word, you probably just wait, what is he talking about? Is he talking about the car with air again? But, all it comes down to was we had an understanding and an understanding of how things worked. We lost contact with that once we started to teach the practices at a mass scale, because you then had hey you want to calm it down a bit? What the fuck y'all niggas doing? Crows and shit trying to have a conversation. I'm trying to have a conversation. Anyway, probably a search party. They're like, yo. Anyway, I totally forgot where we were going with that one. Smoke break. Because I totally forgot. Oh, so I believe that we were teaching so many people on a mass scale, and because the death frequency had already began, it started like massive reincarnation cycles. So you had people who didn't finish getting their teachings. People who didn't finish getting their teachings that would die, and then they'd come back to be taught again. But the problem was that would also require that teacher as well to come back at the same time to do that as well. Now here's the issue, and I learned this from the Nag Hammadi, from the Gospel of Thomas, which is the living teachings of the teachings of the living Yahashua, of the living Christ. This nigga said, there was a time, seek and you shall find. There was a time when you guys seek and I had no answers. Now that I have the answers, you no longer seek. And what he was basically breaking down was, at some point he had came into being, into flesh, and they had questions for him that he couldn't answer as their teacher. So he died, and then when he went back into the original realm, went back into the realm of the mother, he was able to understand the way that the androgynous energies worked, or he was able to understand some type of formula that would be able to liberate the soul at this time when he came back the second time. But when he came back at that point, the students that he had, or the adepts he had, the initiates he had at that time, weren't even asking the questions anymore. Yes, we are. Exactly, D Giggles. We are in that right now. People like myself have came back to this shit because there is something that we need to know about ourselves that we learned in the other realm, but we needed a physical body to know it now. You know? So, smoke break. We have a group of niggas coming back, you know what I'm saying, so they can be able to do their work. But then you also have a group of niggas coming back who ain't shit. And what I mean about the ain't shit part is, because I'm about to get into that, B Miles, I'm glad you brought this up. What I mean about the ain't shit part is, what your soul is a black hole. Okay? And if you understand how black holes work, you have something called a gravitational pull, and then something called an event horizon, and then something called the speed of light. The gravitational pull is stronger and has a higher frequency than the actual speed of light. Therefore, if light gets close enough to it, basically it pulls light in, and the light, because it's faster than the speed of light, gets frozen in time to the observer on the outside. So that's what creates a disk when it comes to the black hole. It creates a disk, and that's the event horizon itself. Now, what happens with that is this. The event horizon is pretty much just debris of frozen light in time to the observer, but on the other side of that black hole, that light is completely, it's doing a whole other thing, right? That is what life is. You have memories that are frozen. I'm actually gonna save the whole thing, and then put it on my YouTube, so you'll have it. The black hole is basically, you have memories and incarnations and family and all these things that's stuck in this debris of your soul. And at any point that you actually start to observe that specific piece of light, it then activates that vibration and changes it from being a vibrational energy to a particle now, which is now it's matter. You see, so your physical life is literally one big ass memory. And the only way to change the memory is to go back and change the source programming. So when people ask about how do they heal themselves and things of that nature, well, it needs to be done through memory. You have to actually go back and remember what it was that caused the pain in the first place, and then from there you can change the symbolic repetition and the feeling that you get from all of those things. And through that changing of that vibrational field, you will then have the ability to do practices and do things in a methodology that would then change the actual frequency at that point. You see what I'm saying? Because you're not frequently thinking about, oh, I got cancer. Oh, I got cancer. Oh, I can't go outside, guys. I can't come and kick it with y'all today. I feel tired because I got cancer. You know what I'm saying? It's like these different things that basically, because you have that mindset, you now have that onset. Or if you're a Migos fan, you got that offset too. Travel to neutral net. Exactly. Much love to you too, and Timid. And D Giggles, no, I've never watched Westworld. I might have to check that out. Is it on Netflix? One of Monty. Yeah, it does have to happen. I believe it does have to happen. Because the thinking process, once you get into meditation, especially if you're really good with meditating, Kundalini, astral projection, live viewing, remote viewing, things of that nature. I haven't came up with something I personally do that I can't really describe yet, but it's kind of like Kundalini. It's almost like an awakening the DMT within you. But yeah, you can hack your present with changing memories. That's actually the only way that I know how to do it. Or, well, I'm going to say the only way. The other way would be technically another ancient Egyptian way, which is still kind of using memories to change the present, but more like using memories to change the future. So in Egypt, there was never a concept of present. It was always either past tense or future tense, simply because everything, no matter which tense it is always done at that present time. So what I did in the past was done at the present time. The sentence I just said right now was done at the present time of me saying it, but it is already the past at this point. So they didn't really care about the present because everything was present. You know what I'm saying? It just was, where were you? What state are you at now that makes you look at it as it being in the past? What state are you in now, which makes it look at it that is something in the future? You know? If you meditate yourself in the comatose, then you shouldn't be here. That meant your ass was getting ready to leave anyway. That's actually and the reason I'm saying that is because that's the way that the people like myself have avoided what's known as reincarnation, and then we just regenerated back here. So when you meditate into comatose, that's actually a process that people do when they want to take their consciousness with them into death, so that if they ever have to come back into the physical realm, they have that same exact consciousness that they had prior to leaving here. It's also recommended, even if you don't plan to come back, so that you can take everything that you learned here with you into the next experience. Somebody else told me to watch A Wrinkle in Time. Somebody in my class told me that. You want to know the issue I have with when people recommend shows to me? First of all, I don't watch TV. So if I watch TV, I already know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna get like locked into the show, right? Like somebody from my class, I think he's actually in here. Uh, Someone from my class was like, "Yo, you should watch Penny Dreadful," and like I slept on it for a minute, but then when I finally got into it, I was like, "Oh shit, this shit is lit!" And like my whole like I watched it like because they canceled it. I watched all of it in like 2-3 days. Maybe not. Maybe like I'm lying. Maybe like a week. So I'll binge watch it. And what I've learned is what I learned is um, what I learned is something very interesting. All shows are lit. They're using occult, like all the good shows have like occult meanings for under them, and what they're doing at this point is they're trying to test to see how woke is the world. You see, and then once they test that, they're gonna see, okay, so now what y'all gonna do? Now that you know what we're doing, and then we're gonna see how far this spiritual war goes. But until then, you have people like myself fighting one side of the fight, and then you have the loving lighters, and then everybody else, and then the ignorant people and the people that ain't woke. They're all like one big ass sheep group that's fighting one side of the fight. And then the other problem is then you have the enemy, which basically is like kind of just sitting there watching us do our thing while it just throws shit in front of us. It's like the Joker. Remember in the Dark Knight when the Joker goes to homeboy the Michael J. White, and he kills him, and then like his two people that was left, he took a pool stick, he broke it in half and threw one half to them niggas and said, "Have at we're having initiations for the group tonight, but there's only one spot. Choose wisely." You know what I'm saying? And now his homeboy, now basically the dude that they've been killing together for the last maybe 20 years, now has to kill each other, or the people that killed their boss is just gonna kill both of them too. So it's like who has the balls to kill their friend at this moment in time to save their own life, and still don't know if these people gonna kill you anyway. you know. Well, see, to me, the love and light, folks, and yes, I shapeshift, but that's not what most understand as something physical. Shapeshifting is the ability to shift within your consciousness what shape you are. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I got the fucking mask of Jehudi on. You talking to Jehudi himself, goddammit. Talking to Amin Ra. You talking to Kepper, or you talking to Set. That's what you're talking to. It's just in the form of Khensu Keku. You see? Now, what's love and light to me is love it. And I only got 2 minutes, y'all, before this joint is over with, before it cuts. So, shout out to Glock CJ, Glow King CJ. Love and light to me is the service to others before service to self. Love and light to me is pretty much, love and light to me, in my mind, are people who have no defense mechanisms. So, like, they believe in God. They believe in the higher self. They believe in spirit guides. They believe in angels. They believe in all these things. And then they believe in Jesus Christ. They believe in the Christ consciousness. They believe in, and that's not something that I'm saying is wrong to believe in. I'm just saying they believe in all these things, and then they hold the things accountable for themselves. So it's like they'll basically say, the 5D ascension is going to happen when the collective loves and does this, and then the collective stops eating meat, and then we have to stop all the chemtrails, and then we stop killing each other. Like, it's basically like saying, like, well, we got to wait for a whole bunch of niggas. The party don't get started until there's people at the party. See what I'm saying? That's for a cracking ass party. But then there are those who, it can be 3 people, and nigga, we start the party. You see what I'm saying? We start the party. We out here. Shit. Niggas be like, hey, Some niggas doing dancing. These niggas dancing in the street. What's going on, man? Get down there. There's two girls and a dude. Oh shit, I got a girl. You got a girl? All right, my nigga, I'm down. What? All right, 5 seconds left. I love y'all, man. Khensu Keku, we out. Cheer.